You guys ready? Are you ready for this?
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and start. All right. What's up, everybody? It's that anime show. I'm singing now.
Stop being
horribly.
so goddamn cheerful. It's hot outside. You have no right to be that happy.
I could get really high, too, if that helps.
What? We're getting high? What?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was part of the deal. Okay, you can be cheerful.
Well, I've been doing it wrong for these past 2 years. But yeah, hey, I'm Terry. If it's your first time listening to the show, it's weird that you picked up with this episode. But, I mean, if you're a Tatum fan, that's cool, too. Yeah. And with me, most of the time, is...
Most of the time. I missed 2 shows in the, 2 years we've been doing this, and you're like, most of the time.
Well, I can't say it's always.
Like it's always, you should just say with me. Just say with me. Be in the present. Live in the present. Be more zen.
Is
What's
J.
my
Michael
name?
Tatum. What's your name?
J. Michael, you just said it.
Yes.
I want to change it. Can I change it to, Bob McGillicuddy?
No.
But that's a good name.
What
Don't you
about...
think that's a good name? I think it's a good name.
Buckley Xavier.
There you go.
Xavier, not Xavier. You do Xavier, that's too many syllables, and it loses the pentameter.
But he is the mutant, he's the leader of the mutants.
And, yeah, if you haven't gathered just yet, we have
That
Tyler Walker
mysterious
with
voice.
us.
Hello, hello.
And we also have...
The voice you never hear.
And we also have Heather Walker with us. Woo! She will be adding color commentary. Boo! Yay!
She's the peanut gallery.
Well, so it's... last time we did a show was with Neil, so that was a while ago.
Has it been a while?
I don't know.
I lose track
I don't even know where I am right now.
Cornelius Malley.
Yes.
Captain Cornelius Malley.
It was so funny to hear him because I listened back to the show and he kind of sounds like Chris Burnett. I didn't realize that.
He does, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Well, that's to Chris Burnett's credit, isn't it?
He likes the side of the mic he's on, though, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And thank God he does, because he's freaking brilliant.
Oh, I love working with him.
So, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He just mixed our last show, Shangri-La.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
It was great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Our last show, collectively.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. You and I have worked on tons of stuff together,
Yeah.
it seems like.
You really have.
It's crazy.
That's why I was a little terrified to do this show. I'm like, will I talk at all in this episode?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're lying.
You are lying. I'm a lying liar who lies. So, we're going to be with you for a little less than 2 hours. We'll try not to eat each other or anything like that. Since everybody's, cannibal.
Yeah, we're not going to get high on bath salts and start,
I think I
ripping
got
our
my
insides out.
flesh-eating bacteria inoculation.
What the hell? Okay. Somebody right now explain that to me, because I only keep hearing this shit in tidbits. What the hell is going on?
I told you that over dinner, and you're like...
Is the zombie apocalypse actually happening? Am I totally going to eat my words when I say it's bullshit?
It's cannibals.
Somebody else will eat your words. Right off your lips.
I just want to point out, both of them pointed at Tatum like, you're fucking dead.
Oh my god, I'm Dylan Moran in a fucking Shaun of the Dead. I'm the glasses wearing naysayer who's
awesome.
going to get eaten.
Well, no, it's like right when you're like, okay, he realized he's a douche, and window. Like,
Those are my intestines. Give them back. So, okay, but explain this to me again, because I really, please, I feel like I need to know this, and I feel like every time I try to ask, everyone just goes, oh, you'll see. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'm like, what? What am I going to see?
I got 9 links to things with I'm like, I get them into zombies, but it's not zombies, it's cannibals. These people are alive.
But let's face this.
You have to be, rule number 1 of being a zombie, you have to have died, and then you come back.
Or
you're
at least believe yourself to be dead, like, Wade Davis style or something like that. Yeah,
you're not just you're not
hey,
a
I'm
zombie.
alive.
You're not a zombie by choice. You can't just choose. It's not a lifestyle choice.
So we're only dealing with cannibals. Thank God. I thought. Because I think that's kind of what makes zombies terrifying. Like, if they came back from the dead and were total vegetarians, they'd be like, all right, we can integrate them into our lives. That's fine, but when they want to eat you, that's kind of the salient feature of what makes them so fucking terrifying.
The guy in, what was it, South Africa or something about 2 weeks ago, who woke up at his own funeral, or was it Egypt?
That was like Egypt.
Yeah, he was presumed dead. I guess maybe they're not very thorough.
He's dead. I think he's breathing.
They poked him with a pin. He didn't complain, so they threw him in the coffin, and he woke up. But he just joined it just became a party now. It's like getting an extra birthday a year. It's like, well, it's not my birthday.
Guys,
it's my
look who showed up.
It's my rebirth day.
That is a fear of mine. That is being like buried alive.
So we have that, and then we have the unrelated incidents of the cannibalism. So
what unrelated?
That goes with it. Flesh-eating bacteria. There's all those cases in the South.
But you would think that. But how does that dovetail? Because you would think flesh-eating bacteria would curtail cannibalistic impulses because you're like, oh, that meat's bad. Like right. So how? What happened?
Perhaps
When did it start?
you need more flesh than your. It's like, well, I know I'm always going to have this stuff here, So it's
just
like
eat around it; it's still good.
You have to branch out. Yeah.
Just cut it out.
Don't be wasteful. We taught you better than that.
Yeah. Like
I think it was Kevin Leisure who's like, it's about time. We've been wasting a shitload of meat.
That's right.
So what's going on? Like people are actually just like total normal everyday people.
I've
are
actually
suddenly
kind
just
of
becoming.
And
cannibals?
Heather's been looking at it, but I've been tuning it out a little bit because I just don't know if my brain can handle it.
Because cannibals have always been around, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've always
They're normally
brain trash that's like starting with like there's plenty of conspiracy theories about like these hazmat accidents and whether or not this is a biological like warfare or something like that that's just getting started. Mm-hmm. There's the big like creepy stuff. But I think it's that some people react to the flesh-eating bacteria differently than others. So for some, it makes them like go insane and like does something weird so they eat. Other people, it's causing like
So I guess if you're an extrovert,
right? Yeah.
You're like,
if you're not NFP, you're fucked.
Oh, she's an actor.
Just be eating people.
You'll just be eating people. I'm fine with that.
But
I'm totally cool with
the
that.
The guy that
I'll eat
cut
people.
himself open and started throwing his organs at cops, I'm like, that is awesome. Imagine being that cop, like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? Like, do I arrest him? Do I help him? Do I tase him? I don't know.
It's hard. It's
kind of doing the job for me.
It's got to be whatever law that man is breaking by throwing his entrails at the cops. It's got to be a ridiculous, it's got to be a ridiculous misdemeanor that I have to get him on something, so we're going to get him with, littering.
Yeah, totally.
That's
is that stored at the right temperature? Health code violation.
Damn hipsters.
You got to refrigerate that.
You got a license to carry that stuff? I'm sorry, but yeah.
You're not serving alcohol with that, are you?
I'm like, it's 2012. It's about fucking time.
He pulls out his liver and the cop's like, oh, that's an open container.
You are an open container. Oh my god. Get the fuck out.
This is something about cannibalism and horrible things like that are just inherently funny to me because there's just so many great jokes waiting to happen to help us cope with the
tragedy.
Yeah, the tragedy.
Well, one of the parents of one of the cannibals is like, my son had a voodoo curse placed on him. I'm like,
yeah, that was the Florida guy.
Yeah. I had a fan from Florida. I'm sure she's listening. It's like, you should come to Florida. We have zombies. I'm like, why do you want me to go to Florida?
Yeah, you actually go the opposite way.
Yeah, if you see the zombies,
populated places.
I do not do that. Like,
you climb, you cross water,
watch
you do
way
all
too
that
many
kind of
horror
stuff.
movies to be like, hey, why don't I go investigate that creepy sound while I'm at it? Like, no.
You walk backwards so that your footprints look
Is
like
there
they're
a haunted
leading
house
away.
or axe murderer? Or...
We were walking Zoe the other night.
I'm going to Florida in a couple of months.
There
Maybe I should rethink this.
No, but we were
they'll have it
walking.
contained by then.
We were walking Zoe
Florida,
a couple
they got it
nights
together.
ago, and it was like pitch dark. For some reason, the streetlights were out, and I heard this. And Stephen was with me, and I just went, and I walked faster, and Stephen was like, hello? I'm like, no, you fucking walk, let's go. Like, no. And he just laughed. I'm like, no, me and Zoe are fine. You're gonna get eaten, let's go. Like, I do not do this. No.
Well, you know, but that's you gotta have some small team though. You're giving up your team too early.
I'm telling you, my plan for the zombie apocalypse, I'm not going to have a bat, I'm not going to have a gun, I'm not going to have a machete, I'm going to have a makeup kit so that I can make myself up to look like a zombie and just be like, bro, one of you, raw brain.
I don't think you say, one of you. Isn't this so cool what we're doing?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what kind of zombie.
That's exactly my point.
Are there different kinds of zombies?
If it's like the Walking Dead type, they can smell you.
Yeah. And if it's
seems unfair.
28 days later, they're fast. If it's the Land of the Dead,
28 days later, they're still alive.
Yeah, it's true.
So they're not really zombies.
They're still alive, like the virus doesn't kill them and take over their bodies? So
because...
they don't become...
Quarantines, it's rabies.
Yeah, it's they're all still alive, so they're really not zombies. But, yeah.
They're zombie-like.
Zombie-like. Yeah.
The Land of the Dead, it was like the whole... it was like zombies are people,
they're starting
too.
to think...
the guy could, like,
At the very end, Simon Baker's like, they're just trying to find a home.
Yeah.
Just like us. And I'm like, what?
Jean-Luc Picard needs to, go on trial and, do you know what this is? I don't.
See, that just made me think of Phil Hartman being a caveman lawyer. I'm just a caveman.
This confuses and angers
I'll be
me.
perfectly honest. Zombies fascinate me, but I think zombies scare me in the same way that just large groups of people do. I don't like crowds because crowds make me uncomfortable. Like large crowds.
Well, it's a good thing you don't go to conventions.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's different. At least at a convention, and
that's where a zombie outbreak's gonna get you.
You don't have a handler at a zombie outbreak. Just line up.
I got a handler.
I'll take a bite.
Line up. Just have your cameras ready, please. Yeah. Only 2 items to sign. Only 2. But I mean, but it's I don't do well with crowds. I really don't. And conventions are fun, but I have to. Because I kind of stand apart from the crowd and kind of can go in the back ways and things like that, it's easier to deal with. But when I go to say Disney World or something like that, where you have to contend with the crowd, I don't do well. I'm a little agoraphobic that way. So I think zombies are terrifying to me because just their sheer number and the fact that they're just brrr, and I think that the more it's I remember seeing a poster or something that once said, "None of us are as dumb as all of us," and so there's something about large groups of people in the hive mind that forms that just fucking terrifies me.
A person is smart and intelligent. People are dumb, scare easily. Yes.
Yeah. And so I think zombies scare me, but I really want. I'll be perfectly honest, and don't hate me for this, but I'm getting sick of zombies in the same way that I'm getting sick of vampires. I want werewolves to come back.
Werewolves should come back, but not like
sexy, frightening.
They tried to bring him back, but it was just in the mix with everything.
Zombies are over. Zombies will come back in another 20 years.
Right.
It's like fashion. Zombies will come back in about 20 years. They need to go away for a while. They're kind of ruining it, with Flight of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dorks, shit like that. Yeah.
Flight of the Living Dead.
Yeah, there's a zombie outbreak on a plane.
Like snakes on a plane.
Yeah.
What was that other one?
Get these motherfucking zombies off my motherfucking plane.
That fucker is in everything.
What was that other one with the zombies on a plane? Was it Quarantine 2?
Maybe it was
Electric Boogaloo.
Wreck or something, where they're all in the plane and then they go into the luggage hold and...
See, that was Flight of the Living Dead.
No,
I want to see this trope turned on its head. And I want the zombies to be hot, and they're all
That's weird,
hot model types,
male
and female, that have died from plastic surgery mishaps. And that's specific. And then they come back, and rather than being ravenously hungry for human brains, they're sex starved. They become sex maniacs.
That's porno's already been
Has it? Damn it!
Yeah.
See, I thought I had original idea, and I don't.
Rick and Morty.
I was just trying to think because they've sexed up vampires and werewolves, are tried it, but they haven't sexed up zombies yet.
I love that.
That's the last
great work on your Google Foo. I'm sure you can.
My Google Foo is
find
no good. Yeah. The law of the internet. I just thought of it, so there's already a dozen websites in existence.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of Tatum. Look at this. Tatum, look at that.
I know. I just want to. I'm just waiting to see if someone can actually make zombies sexy, because I think that's the.
Return of the Living Dead 3. There you go.
Really? Someone's already done it?
Because
I have this theory that...
Return of the Living... There's a hot... And then there was, of course, for the obscure horror fans, there was, Necromantic.
There you go.
And Necromantic 2, which are...
See, that's interesting to me, because
some of those scenes, I'm still scarred by them. It's probably been, I don't know, 20 years since I've seen it. That's how old I am. It's... It's still there.
I see, because that's my theory. Is my hypothesis is that you take something scary and eventually you run out of shit to do with it. And so many movies are out there, books are out there, and
like
so
Stephen
the next
King writing.
and then so the next step is to just make it sexy because no one's really scared of it anymore. So now you make it alluring in other ways, right?
Just do that with
they did. I mean, think Anne Rice writing about sexy bisexual vampires. That was kind of the first time, maybe not the first time, but that was what I remember being the first encounter I had with vampires that weren't just creepy fucking evil things with teeth that wanted to suck your blood. I'm so existential. And then they do it with werewolves and other creatures and things like that. But I didn't know. I thought that when you sexify a horror movie concept or like a horror movie trope, that's the beginning of the end for that trope for a while.
That's jumping the shark.
Yeah, that's jumping the shark.
And
sexing the vampire. Yeah.
That's jumping the shark and having sex with it.
Well, if I may cross promote here, a show of mine. I wasn't announced as the director. I don't know. Maybe they're ashamed of me. But I worked on Is This a Zombie last year, which was about an undead kid who also is forced into cross-dressing. So,
and it's a great show. Like, he can't be out in the sun without kind of drying up.
Yeah. So
okay, that sounds pretty fucking awesome.
It's already started, yeah. He's a chainsaw-wielding, cross-dressing undead.
They just premiered the trailer, this week.
Yeah, this week. It's very topical.
I mean, there you go.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Justin Rojas and the marketing people are geniuses.
They're all no, I think they're evil geniuses.
Yes,
they're behind the outbreak.
I know.
This is all just promotion.
Funimation's like the Umbrella Corporation.
Okay, but let's be honest. How fucking awesome would that be?
Yeah. Funimation just paid this guy $1,000 to eat somebody's face. And the creepy thing is they didn't even talk about the show.
No one's seen Austin Tyndall in weeks.
Oh my god, that's
awesome. Why didn't I think of that? Oh man.
Morgan Garrett's gone. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's very topical. Zombies
anime.
Zombies
Do you
are the
think
topic
if
du jour.
if you had been working on this show at the time of the horrible outbreak of horrible things happening, do you think it would have been harder to work on?
No, it would have been easy. We could have thrown in some timely face eating jokes.
Italia style.
It's like
I just made
face-eating
Italian
jokes never get
style.
old.
Fast and loose with everything. It's like, sure, why not?
That's fucking awesome. What's the title of the show again?
Is This a Zombie?
Is This a Zombie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Zombies were cool. I saw a bit of it. I saw the trailer. Everybody sounds really good. But that's really shocking too with the Tyler show.
It being amazing. Wow. Huh. Surprise, surprise.
I'll feign modesty here.
I can't look at him because I'm complimenting him. I'm like, no.
Whatever. He's sitting like Abraham Lincoln in the memorial right now. Yeah. I'll feign modesty right now. I'm 4 and 7
I'm working
years
on
ago.
getting bronze, but
You're a fucking amazing director. There, I said it. I said what we're all thinking. Now let's move on.
I was thinking about nachos, but yeah, Tyler's pretty cool.
Nachos are good too. Man, amazing nachos may be better than a good anime director.
You're as amazing as nachos. You're as
Copyright.
amazing as nachos on a hot day.
Show 2012.
You're amazing as nachos. TM.
Really?
Nachos.
Because you better jump on that now because people are going to use it
Well, I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday. She's like, who do you have on the show tomorrow? I'm like, Tyler. She's like, Ghost Hunt. And I went, or Tyler. He goes by Tyler.
Yeah. Tyler Ghost Hunt Walker.
That's a great name. Come on, that's great though.
It's part of the
Walker.
It's
that's
part
for
of
post-apocalypse.
I'm collecting names.
I got a lot of Ghost Hunt love in Toronto.
Really?
I was in Canada for the first time ever last weekend at Anime North,
and
which
was
was
also your birthday.
also my birthday, which Brina and Monica refused to let me forget the entire time.
It's your birthday!
Everybody sing happy birthday to Tatum, which really translated into they made me MC every fucking panel we did. Like, it's your birthday, you should have the mic. I'm like, oh, yay.
It's your birthday, get to work.
It's your birthday, you do all the heavy lifting.
Boy
Yeah,
or girl.
we all know how much he hates speaking, or microphones. He's
honestly, every time we cast him, it's like,
I suppose I'll talk for a couple of days before I come in.
Yeah, I don't
Ghost
know.
Hunt
I don't
Love,
know
that's
why.
great, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of Ghost Hunt Love, and it's funny because I was Lynn Cujo in it, who doesn't speak very often, but who has fucking great hair, and they still these people loved it so much they would bring it through my autograph line and be like, "Oh my god, I love
you
this, I
yell
love
at
this,"
them
and I'm
like that too. Leave me alone.
No.
I'm not your dad.
But yeah, there's a lot of love for that show, and I see it at a lot of conventions, but it was like there was just a ton of people in Toronto and Anime North that just loved that show.
Awesome.
A lot of Bakano love too.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of Bakano love. Some Blossreiter love. Like there's
Really?
a lot of love for shows that you and I have worked together on. And I was like,
a lot of fairy
team,
tale, a lot of fairy tale stuff.
I did have a few fairy tales, even though I'm only in that just a little bitty bit.
You're in
the
unless you're the main,
arc.
like we're all in it just a little bit, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one of those
Heather's
War
in
and
it
Peace
too.
shows where there's so many people in it.
Yeah.
You're Angelica.
Giant flying rat.
It's the most adorable rat ever, but she's like a giant rat.
Stinky rat.
Yeah, with horrible breath, She has a good sense of humor about it, She wanted that role.
No, I absolutely really wanted
And who wouldn't want Trina Nishimura to be in love with you?
Thank
right.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Angelica.
even chronic halitosis has its perks.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean,
You just got to work on a lot of high-profile shows.
I've
which is
gotten
awesome.
lucky to get those, to draw the good straws on those, and it's really.
Well, I don't know that luck has anything to do with it. I think it's just like, this show needs an awesome dub. Let's give it to Tyler.
That's right. Well, I'd like to.
Awesome.
I'd like to. I don't know what to say to that.
Well, I know several of my favorite shows of just that I've gotten to work on either as a writer or director of stuff that you've directed. So, because Bakano will always be one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Bakano is just a phenomenal fucking show.
Yeah, we were.
And the dub is just one of the best
having him
dubs
and
I've ever
Caitlin
heard
in the
in my
same
life.
room now is really hard now.
It's insufferable. It's like, we were in Bakano. Fuck you. It's like our response to, would you like to see a wine list?
Yes,
like,
Caitlin. I'm like, no!
Yeah, and that show, I don't know. I mean, this is probably the worst thing you can do to be in the whatever echelon of the entertainment industry we're in, but to Google yourself from time to time, or Google your shows, or a couple times a day,
or have Google alert.
check your star meter on IMDb, look at all that. But
I don't do any of
But
those
yeah, Bakano
things.
is like it seems like the dub is considered like canon,
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's extraordinarily well reviewed. Again, yes, I've read all that shit because I not just look up for shit on me. I mean, I just think it's a great show.
Yeah. You look up and see what people like and what people.
It's one of
don't
those
like
shows.
and,
Like even if
think
even
that
if
they're
I
just wrong.
had even if I had nothing to do with it, I would.
It's a double-edged sword,
I would
but
love
you're
it.
like, I'm curious, how's it being received?
Well, I can honestly say Bakano is one of those shows that even if I'd had nothing to do with it, I would have wound up watching it and fucking loving what you guys
I did nothing
with
in it. I love that show.
And it's one of those shows that I
Love
have
it.
certain friends I don't know what else to call them really that don't like anime.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Bakano's
to
one
each
of those
their
could be
own.
live
But like
action,
Bakano's one of those like gateway shows. Like if you don't like this, you're just you're trying too hard to
There's
hate
something
anime,
for
and we can't be
everybody.
friends if you don't like this. And so like everyone, and it's one of like 2 or 3 things I've done that I'm that way about.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cross appeal. And It's got the immortal gangsters. I mean, everybody. That's
Goofballs,
we need more of that actually.
Well, it's like you said. I think originally when we were working on it, that it's kind of nice to it's such that sort of Americana mythos that infuses it that it's kind of like getting to do the English dub was kind of like getting to bring all those concepts back home to where where the source of inspiration was for the Japanese.
Well, I didn't get to write any of that.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That was before I was.
Yeah, that was
before I was a writer. But Chuck did a great job on that, and we had the slang dictionary and all that stuff, and we pepper it up, and we do all that kind of stuff, and I was watching
I got to intern a little bit with you on that.
Oh yeah. I was watching like old James Cagney movies and like Miller's Crossing and
oh my god, Miller's Crossing.
Yeah, which was probably the perfect one because it's all about the lingo.
Yeah, it totally is, and like Bakano,
like
there's
the
a bunch of
biggest-
different lingos in it, a bunch of different strata of style of dialects of Americana dialects.
Yeah. A lot of people, you
got the Irish gangsters and,
When you're
and
talking
the
about
Italian
like
mafia.
who I think of immediately is Massey. Who
loves
his character, and that we love him as he sang on the show like "Rockabye Baby," like as Lad, or Andy Itsy Bitsy Spider. And people made like files out of it.
He loves to sing though, because we had him in on Shangri-La, and we have on our hard drive, which we'll pull up from time to time, we have him doing "If I Were a Rich Man" from Fiddler on the Roof. He just broke into it, and he did maybe 2.5 minutes of it. All day long, I'd vidi vidi vom. He's in there dancing around.
That's really good math.
I actually didn't even. That was spontaneous.
You were the first director that really discovered Massey for this stuff,
worked with Mike before.
Okay,
but he came in and
you were the first one to give him a really substantial role in
I
something,
think
right?
so.
Because wasn't Lad his
he
first
was like
really
Villager
big...
Q or something, and
because I remember
Mushishi.
Yeah. Because I remember you telling me about his audition and how he'd scared the shit out of you. When
he's all like, he comes in and he does that, and I'd grab you by the throat and squeeze and squeeze and it's like veins are all popping out, and he's like turning bright red, and he's all like muscles and like some
and you
wild
don't really
person
know Massey yet.
I've never met in my life, and he comes in, he all shakes your hand, very enthusiastically. He's like, "Hey, nice to meet you, brother." And it's just like, he's a big, larger-than-life personality. He comes in and rocks the mic and just, scares the bejesus out of us, and me and, Corey, we're sitting there like, what is it, like, where the hell did this guy come from, It's like, well, all right. He's Lad,
Yeah.
Would anyone like to try to take it from him?
Nope. Everyone steps back.
Yeah,
no,
or he'll come out of the audition room.
This show's got a lot of characters. I'm good.
He'll come out of the audition room saying like, "Break a leg." I did, But his classic,
someone else's, but
his classic audition story.
And he's such a sweet guy too, which is great. One of my favorite convention stories was we were at San Japan last year, he and I, and
it's
I think
the
it was
first con
his first real con he played.
San Antonio.
In San Antonio, and which is really cool, really great little con. And at some point, he had cut his thumb or something, just little, it was a little paper cut, one of those really irritating little paper cuts, right?
Story.
But then he just kind of thought, what the hell, and started eating these really spicy Japanese chips that were in the green room before we had to go down for a panel, all of us. And so we go downstairs and we're outside. And just kind of waiting, just kind of hanging out with everybody. And Massey's over there going, God, jeez, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he explains to me what happened. And he's like, yeah, I feel like such an idiot, but this hurts. This really fucking hurts. And I'm like, he's like, I can't. And I'm trying to wash it off. It doesn't do any damn good. I'm like, and I'm like, and we happen to be outside, and I noticed there was an aloe vera plant just nearby. And I'm like, well, come here. And so I break off the tip of the aloe vera leaf and put some of the aloe on him and rub it in. And he's like, holy shit, that's better. You'd think I was fucking Merlin after that. The entire con, he kept telling me Tatum was outside and Tatum did some magic shit and totally cured my thumb.
Well, yeah,
and it was great. And and now I'm more virile and my hair is stronger. And everything was. It was really, really Massey. That was
my
great.
daughter respects me now.
What? You could have taken the jerk route and said well, no, if you urinate on it, I think it goes away immediately.
Well, but here,
if you get a stranger to do it.
Drink this vegetable oil first. I can't be a dick to Massey. I love Massey. I want to see him.
Too.
Is it
I always
wrong?
mess with him on Twitter.
Is it wrong that I want to see him cosplay as Thor?
Oh yeah,
right,
perfect.
Right.
There's probably there's probably some picture of him already. He's he's been in all those movies and stuff, and there's pictures of him in a Roman outfit and a Nazi outfit, and for the X-Files, I believe.
Yes.
He wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't just for
He
fun.
wasn't he wasn't at a rally.
Something he does on the weekend.
I'm I know he's made some very horrible jokes on this show. He has.
Okay. That's
but it's all in
That's
fun.
Massey's specialty. But he wasn't. Yeah, he was right. We should. Yeah, he was wearing the Nazi outfit for a role he was playing. He wasn't at a rally.
Yeah.
Or a swap meet. He wasn't.
Who wants to go shopping?
Yeah, but finding him on that show was awesome. That was great. That was one of the
everybody sounds great.
one of the a very fortuitous audition.
Yeah, and that whole show was just great. Some of my best memories of being in the booth and recording were on that show.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because you'd always normally record before Caitlin.
True.
And I was talking about this in a commentary with I don't know, it was some Shangri-La commentary, and I remember like the last next time on, and you said, Tyler, will you be Miria for me one last time?
Oh yeah.
We did well, Isaac, and you did the back
he used to do like because
He's
he used
really
to
good about that. Or like with Virgo, he does the voice with me.
Well, in the next time on bits for Bacano, like that has to be so timed because they're just like because Isaac and Mary have this vaudevillian patter, palaver going on, so it's like blah, 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 and it's really fast, really rapid fire, and so if Caitlin wasn't recorded,
kind of feel artificial,
and so you can hear the beeps for your next cue, and it would tend to make me rush to the end of the line I'm in, and so I'm like, so Tyler would, let's just take them out, and he would read Miria's lines with me, or at me, so that I had a good sense of so I'm actually doing a back and forth.
Yeah.
And then the last day, or it wasn't the last episode, it was the second to last episode where we had to do the last. And I'm like, will you be Miria for me one more time? Like I touched the glass.
Oh, the glass, yes.
Yes, just sort of touched the glass. But I think working on that show was, I think, where the birth of Tatumisms came from, or the pulling a Tatum, because apparently that's a euphemism. That saying "pulling a Tatum," from my understanding, is now a euphemism for looking like a complete ass in the booth, like moving around and being very physical. But that was the first time I really did that, because I think Bacano was the first character like that I recorded in one of the big studios where you could see everything I was doing.
Corey called you on your shit. He's like, dude, what the fuck?
When you're in the small ones, whenever I was in the small ones, I would just kind of box myself in against the walls. You'd just do this sort of thing that when you get out of the booth, your arms feel like they're still going up. That one, I remember I remember this one scene where you're you're talking to the store clerk when you had the mask and the hat shop.
Oh, when their idea of robbing him is paying for it and leaving.
And you reached around the screen and you did the sideways pistol grip thing. And I was like, hey, it works. But also that booth, this was another memory of working on the show with Jason Liebrecht. Whenever Luck and Dallas Genuard, played by Ian Sinclair, do a we love Ian.
Ian makes us do that. Ian Sinclair.
When they're not, of course they're not doing the scene together, but Jason's doing this line. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not hearing it, And we do it again and again and again, because apparently I'm the Stanley Kubrick of voice direction. Ask an actor who will remain unnamed at this point. So I'm like, come on, I'm not hearing it. And he's like, Tyler, look at me. And so I stand up. Sometimes we get the monitors right there, and so you kind of have to look around, and they're kind of in the back of the room or whatever. And so I look at him, and he does the line, and the face that he did, it all sounded right together. And it's like, all right, I'm sorry, I was wrong. That happens, once per show. So, take it.
Everybody gets one.
So take it there.
Do you remember when I was doing the thing where I had my arms out like this and was doing this weird wobbly airplane thing for some reason, and it was and Corey was just dying. Corey was like, "Why the fuck are you doing that? Why? What is that? Don't hurt yourself."
But then he actually
and then later in that same day we were recording, and there was a scene when Isaac and Miri were actually doing exactly that when they were humming the tune, and I'm like,
"Fuck you, Corey!
Fuck you, Corey! I know
when
this
that
character
stuff works out." Speaking of Ian Sinclair earlier. Ian Sinclair, he does this, and he kind of, he and Brandon Potter have this thing, where they do the power pull down. You reach your arms skyward in triumph, or like you're holding the skull of Yorick, or whatever, and you read your line, and as you read the line, pull down the sky. You pull it down.
Fuck you, Chicken Little.
That's right. We're pulling down the sky, and his character Torji started doing that. And it's like, well, it's kismet,
It's awesome.
What show is
awesome.
Bamboo Blade.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's one of those things, it all comes together. What I remember from Baccano, speaking of moving around, is the scene towards the end when y'all are in the car on the cobblestones, and you're in there and you're going... I don't remember.
I can't remember the line, but something like oh, he's getting away. I'm having to just jerk my voice box around and
you just grab yourself by the throat and choke yourself.
It's like Hellraiser in there.
So I think Caitlin found a less violent, less
she found a way that didn't actually damage her body.
She just went, probably.
And I remember talking about Jason again. He did a couple of scenes in Black Cat where he's like choking himself so hard that he. He's in there, his eyes are watering and all this stuff, but
method. I'm telling you,
Jason.
It just didn't work if he didn't do it.
You gotta do some crazy thing. I mean, Ian made me hump a microphone stand once, and just because he's like, we gotta hear the sound of you thrusting, or it's not gonna sound like it. And I'm like, all right.
What did you do to Teague?
What did I do to Teague
for his for Juo say?
Oh,
the human beings thing. You told me.
Yeah. What did I? I forgot.
You
about
had to go
this.
get in behind him, and he's
because he kept. He's short, and I'm massive, so I guess
he's essentially like his character McGuire. He's very like.
It wasn't and he was but in that show, his character had to be kind of tough, especially when I got into directing him, because his character by that time had grown up and was kind of the reluctant leader, but was having to be like a kind of badass and kind of violent, but against his will. And Sean, because there's many scenes where this takes place in winter on this, many scenes take place in winter on this really harsh planet, and so all these characters are dressed up in face masks and body armor or whatever to protect them from the elements, and so he had this. I had brought this bandana that he had to wear over his mouth, and that was like giving a child candy. It was like Teague was like, "Look, and he kept his I'm like, Sean, reel it in. You're not supposed to be having this much fun. You hate life. Remember, this is your character." And he kept kept doing that. And there was something he just kept. There was, I guess he tried to say the word, human being as part of the line, and it came out human being. And for some reason, that just cracked him up, and he got caught in a giggle loop. So between that and this, it was like, Sean, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, we're going to do this line. So I just got in with him, and he was like, oh my God. So I got in with him and just stood behind him. And it was one of the little whisper rooms where there is barely enough room for one. Yeah. And I got in behind him and just stood behind him with my arms folded. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Corey, set the beeps. Let's do it. And Sean's like, oh my God, I don't know. And totally got the line right. And I'm like, okay, now from now on, just imagine I'm doing that. Because I might be. It was great. So much fun. I'd forgotten about that.
Well, I would, he and I actually went to high school very close to each other. And we're both in Conroe, which is north of Houston, out in the middle of, Hickville or whatever. So I would say someone's like, I can hear a little Conroe in that read, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," but I realized.
I'm sorry.
I realized that I was.
So adorable.
I was actually. I had met him while I was in high school, and he was filming these Indiana Jones movies.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He did.
Sean works a lot with Matsy too. Isn't that
Yeah. He did about. He did about 6 or so self-done Indiana Jones movies.
Well,
right?
He was a huge Indiana Jones.
And I didn't realize I worked with him for years, but we all look different. He was not dressed like Indiana Jones, which is a big thing. I wasn't dressed like a zombie, which they fought zombies. Tie that all back. But
flesh eating zombies.
Circle of life. But he's like, it was right before that last one came out. He's like, Tyler, are you excited? I was like, about what? And he said, about that thing we've been waiting our whole lives to happen again. And I'm like, you made Indiana Jones movies. I was in one. And he's like, yes, in Conroe. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. We had this running, when Bevins and I were working on USA together, we had this running bet, because I hadn't worked with Sean before. I'd been in several things where we'd played opposite each other, and I thought he was really talented, but I hadn't met him. And the first thing Bevins told me, he's like, give him 10 minutes and he will be talking about Indiana Jones. And indeed, every time he came in,
do you remember when Jake Lloyd came to the studio?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Because he's a huge Lucas fan, just in general. And he didn't know who that was.
Well, because he looks very different now.
Yeah.
He's
He's all
grown
grown up.
You know.
That was like 97?
Something like that, yeah.
And Tara was still sitting at the front, and Tara, who's so quiet and lovely, but she's like, Sean, do you know who that was? He's like, no. It's like, that was Anakin Skywalker, and he's like, oh, really? Oh my god!
Like he was beside himself that he missed his opportunity.
It's actually because of Sean Teague that I do boy voices now. Because I used to mimic him in the booth. And Ian was like, do that, but in the booth. And that's how I did it. It's because I was doing the, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's get that again. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much.
How many years now have you been in the director's chair, Tyler? Is it... Because you were doing this before I came on board, right? You were a director before.
No. Because I engineered for Bevins on Samurai 7.
Oh my God, that's right. You did.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was Tyler?
No, it's because I got used to Zach because Zach did it. Zach and Scott did it for, and I guess, and I was really new. And
full-time gig.
So I didn't.
So you came in mainly on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a lot of those sessions. I maybe did one or something.
Yeah.
And then I got my directing gig right at the same time that we got engaged.
Aww.
Yeah. So, 7 years or so.
Yeah. So that was
7 long
that was the that was like one of the I got promoted and we got engaged. It was like one of the best months of my life. And,
how did you get into the business? How did you find your way into it? I mean, okay, so you were an engineer first, right?
Yeah, I had a degree in radio, TV, film, and I wasn't doing much with it, and it actually moved out to Los Angeles with my old band. Who another cross promotion? If you ever if you ever watch Dragon Ball Z Movie 8, Broly, we have 3 songs in there at Point Shoe Factory. But anyway, we moved out to LA, and we stayed there for about a year, and had tried to find some work out there. And if I wanted to work for free, there was tons of stuff to do.
Yeah.
But,
You'll get credit.
Yeah.
Dude,
this goes on your resume.
Yeah. But anyway, so I came back here and I was working at like a sign shop or something, and my buddy Matt Pearsall, who runs Gleek Audio now, video game audio. I knew him from the band scene or whatever. He was in the LF and the Dream Tigers and stuff, and so we knew each other from there. And he's like, you got a degree, you should do something with it, and why don't you put in an application to Funimation? And I did, and I went and talked to Barry in June, and I didn't hear anything for like 6 months, and I was like, well, I guess
I tried.
I guess that didn't go too well, I thought I scored some points by mentioning some obsolete piece of gear that Barry loved, and the Roland DM80, and he was like, oh yeah. Anyway, so then, but then I started back that December right at the end of the year, and I was a ADR engineer, production assistant, and one of my first sessions was sitting in watching Justin Cook in the director's chair, Chris Bevins in the engineer's chair, and Eric Vale recording Fruits Basket. And, I was like, wow, this is, crazy plays, Justin and Bevins and Eric Vale's like out of the booth every line, he's like out of there,
be like, hey, what's up, baby?
It's coming up for air.
It was great. And then
like a dolphin.
Did that for, worked with pretty much every director there as an ADR engineer. Huh. And the right chain of events happened, and, I broke the right person's kneecap, and they couldn't come to work, and someone had to direct that day.
You pulled a Massey before Massey was Massey.
So, I started working on Case Closed, and, actually got my own shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then here you are now with such so many awesome
and now
shows and canon dubs.
Yeah, that's right. That's
to your credit.
And we just wrapped Shangri-La.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Oh my god! When he was just writing it before it even went into the booth, he was just geeking out. So
it has one of my favorite characters that I've ever written for, and that I think is a great character. And
Momoko,
absolutely. That's a great, really challenging, fun character just to witness as an audience member if you're not used to that kind of thing. So it's very subversive. And I was like, oh my god, yeah. And I love
and writing all those lines without making all those zingers, without making it a total caricature, and not,
writing them in such a way is that you're not making fun of the stereotype of a transgendered person so much as you're making fun of the people who buy into those stereotypes.
Yeah.
So Momoko would say these one-liners, these zingers in such a way that kind of was throwing those stereotypes back in the faces of the people that would make fun of her.
Yeah.
And that was really hard to do. And I think, because you and I got to work together on that show along with Patrick, and I think we all joined together, and I loved your dialogue for Momoko. I thought it was really,
it was
really
great.
strong.
You try to think of a way, to phrase it, and think of all these. They give you so much, all the motifs that they do, the whole lipstick thing.
Oh
all that stuff, and you're still proud of some of those lines. I
think I have some favorites.
Yeah.
the one that I was really proud of because I wrote it was something to the effect of you'd be surprised how limber you can be when you check your luggage at the curb.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, it's subtle and nasty at the same time. I love that.
Yeah.
But you had some zingers. Patrick had some zingers. But she's a great character because she's not just funny. She's complicated.
Yeah.
She's very complicated, and the role she played.
Kent Williams.
Kent
Williams,
that's right.
who is fucking put on this earth to play that role.
Yeah,
as far
he
as
was
I'm concerned.
terrified. He kept thinking I don't know. He kept thinking he wasn't doing it well, which kind of works out in a way as a director because it keeps the actor on their toes.
Sure.
They're not complacent.
Yeah,
and
that's a very fine line for an actor to have to be because you're especially you're very conscious of wanting to do justice to the character and not reduce it to a caricature. But Kent was just perfect choice. Choice.
Over here had a great role as Hiroko, the screaming,
the child oracle.
Yeah.
I
hate my job. It's needed happy hour.
But it's a fascinating show because it's just good, solid sort of fantasy sci-fi, which has always been my comfort zone as a writer. Mm-hmm. And but it's got, and I love, and we talked about this a little bit when we did the commentary. But I love writing for shows that have a huge cast like that, and they all represent, or they all sort of come from different strata of this world that's been built for the show, so that they all speak in different ways. They'll have their own lingo. They all have kind of their own vocabulary, their own their own particular, their own unique relationship to language, and it's fun. So on the one hand, you've got the Moon Palace people, which speak in that ridiculous, overly formalized Elizabethan dialect, and then you have
and it's all a put on, and it's all shows their education, and it we talked about. The viral kind of aspect of language and how someone's talking a certain way infects a certain person. You hear the character Kuniko talk a lot like Momoko at times. She's got a little bit of that. She's got a little bit of that drag queeny kind of fabulousness, but she's also really down to earth. She's got her grandmother's thing, and then then you have the Moon Palace people who are all groomed a certain way, and they're all grooming, and they're all
Ivy
trying
Leaguers.
but they're all trying to engender in the heir apparent what would be proper for a leader to speak, and that stuff. I remember, writing some of that stuff, and I'm in there, listening to the same, that drives Heather crazy when I'm, it's you just have the Japanese going over and over and over and over and over again. It's will you just finish the line already?
Yeah, if you say any word over and over, it starts to sound strange.
Yeah.
It's Japanese.
Yeah.
When it's a language you don't speak,
Over
it's
God
damn it!
Again.
What is? It's like
I know how to say that now.
It's like hearing someone playing ocarina who only knows a 4-note tune. And it's beep, 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 beep.
Or
oh fucking dog!
And you come out and you go oh my god, I just had to write this line that was what Eric corporeal form doth enshroud thee, or just it's like I can't do this I'm done with the scene for a while. I gotta take a break till
Funny, those were often my stopping points too. I'm like, oh, okay, now
it's really challenging, and it's really. I mean, I had all kinds of different strategies to get there.
Yeah, it's fascinating the coping mechanisms as a writer you develop to get yourself through. The characters that are harder to write for you personally. For whatever
developed
reason.
some tricks for her that I don't know. I don't know about divulging too much, but
I
ways to get out of those. Like sometimes I would think about like what the character would want to be talking about, right? And then I would look up quotes on that subject. Oh. And I would look up like maybe 20 quotes on this subject, and then try to maybe take a couple of them and rewrite those or kind of crystallize them.
That's great.
Into a thing, and then you come up with something that is unique.
Yeah. Which is really...
that's like I remember like a lot Mikini line that's like lies are sweet but poison to our soul. Yeah. And it's like I looked. That was a birth of all these different quotes and like thinking about it and stewing on it and then taking 3 things. That's why this takes forever to write.
Yeah. Well, that's what's fun. I love that you mentioned that. I love that you talk about that particular method because that, in a way, is a great microcosm of everything about that show as an experiment in language on our side of things that I think made it so enjoyable for me. I had a bit of a writer's epiphany working on that show. I suddenly just kind of formulated sort of my, what I thought about language in general, and I think I've come to realize. Or at least to feel that I think one of the chief ironies of language in general is that most of the time people use it to evade direct communication rather than actually express how they feel. And so, each of us grows up in a certain dialect or a certain, we're taught a certain way to speak. And maybe it's an amalgam of different people, different styles of speaking that we kind of make our own as we get older. But it becomes whatever your dialect or your background, it always becomes formalized in a sense, formulaic, that you have a series of set responses that after a while just begin to lose all meaning for you. Like we were saying, like hearing a bit of Japanese dialogue over and over again, or even a piece of English dialogue over and over again, like on loop, it just begins to completely dissociate itself from any sort of meaning or concept. It just becomes noise. And I think our own relationship for the words that come out of our mouths on a day-to-day basis, that happens until we learn from someone else a new way of speaking.
Yeah.
So that cross-pollinization sort of creates a new kind of dialect that makes new kind of meaning possible for us, and it changes our relationship to what we think is expressible.
Yeah.
And I love that happens frequently in that show where these characters encounter other characters and begin to sort of learn new ways of expressing themselves.
Yeah, and they trade those things. You see Miko, take on the kind of speech. I never got the feeling that she was that educated, but she was influenced by those around her.
Yeah.
I just actually read a book based on what Bruce Elliott had, when we were working on this, Bruce Elliott had recommended to me Snow Crash, that Neil Stephenson book.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read that?
Yes, I have.
And it's all about the primordial language in your brain that can program you to do, that gets down to your basic...
That sort of universal grammar.
Yeah. And how it all diverged in the Babel mythology and all that stuff. It's like really, really heady, but like I don't know, working on that show and thinking about those kind of things, and then reading that book at the same time.
That's great.
Was really kind of cool. It was really
a great fertile combination of things.
It was kismet, at the same time.
That's awesome. Terry's over there, like with her hand on her chin, going fascinating, like taking notes and everything. All right, sorry. You know me. I start.
But that's
why I do.
Start geeking out about language and stuff because I love language.
It's like we're doing a show or something.
You're one of my favorite writers to work with, and
thank you.
I think our scripts will complement each other, and
I love working with you.
There are certain things, I give you my script, you make some changes to that, you give me your script, and changes happen in the booth.
To that, which is it's all very organic and collaborative, and that's what
that's
the biggest. That's what's so appealing.
To those changes,
that's what's so appealing about it for me.
It's the script is it's a living document.
Absolutely.
It's like, I don't think this character would know what that meant, so they'll say it this way.
She wouldn't say it this way.
I think as a writer, I'm kind of more insulted, or at least not insulted, but skeptical when a script of mine comes back with absolutely no red marks or changes whatsoever, because then I feel like, well, wow, this feels like this director wasn't that engaged. Like they just kind of sat back and let everything else kind of fall into place. And I'm always like, no, you should want to rewrite stuff, you know.
Yeah,
I don't go changing everything, but I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah, but I love that. I love that too. It's always nice to see your own work
for yourself, and you change that too. You're
all the time, all the time.
Oh, this would be funnier, or this would be more touching, or more. Germaine or more.
Writing a script for me is much like me having a conversation. I put things out there because I want to see them. I want to get them back through someone else's filter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And just to because it causes me to grow and change and rethink what I'm expressing.
Well, you know, and then you can chew on it. You can think about it. It comes back to you. You know,
like someone's face.
Like someone's face.
Circle.
But you know, that's like doing the commentaries on Shangri-La, you know, it's like, man, I wish I'd done these first. You know, it's like I understand so much now. You know, talking to Jennifer Seaman, who played Ryoko, who was working on her doctorate, you know, in history and social. Witchcraft, basically, like
social witchcraft,
like borderland faith healers, and you know, she's a big history nerd, and it's like, you know, we kind of talked about how some of the characters would fit in with this, and kind of the way that you know that story of Shangri-La is so steeped in mythology and folk tales and all this stuff, and there's not the same kind of thing as much, and especially American culture, because we don't have the history that goes so far back, and we don't have the, you know, our country wasn't founded by spirits from the sky sticking a spear into the water and all that kind of stuff. Or there was, but we wiped out all the people who thought that, you know.
America doesn't quite have it doesn't have an intact mythology. There's little just bits and pieces that we've kind of either found when we came here and you know and kind of adopted, or that came with us from wherever, you know, our place of origin was.
But I wasn't thinking that while I was working on it. But after it all came together, it's like. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the feel like you get, you know, now you're just so like in your head or whatever, and then you talk to somebody about it who can share it, and it's like, whoa, you know, like, did you think this? Oh, no, I should have. Or
it's kind of cool, and I think it just comes out instinctively when you're working on it, and then only later do you
you immerse,
you know, the words
you're immersed
for it.
In it.
Sure.
And that's why, you know, I love to be able to work on scripts that I direct and.
Terry, thank you for your contribution. It's time to take a break, isn't it?
There we go.
And that's maybe why Heather's character just screamed its head off all the time. It's like,
I hate my job!
I'm not gonna... just like... What are you talking about?
I was promised dental and visual!
I was lied to, yes. Those are the kinds of like placeholder dialogue I would write before coming back, because those were hard lines to write because they were so big. I'd be like, I was promised, there's some template of me writing, I was promised dental and visual, because it just fit the flaps perfectly, and I'm like, oh, I gotta remember to change that, because that won't make any sense if I leave it in.
I just made a little side note, little note on the side, be like, just so you know, this would fit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Never thought of it.
Or the Hunting of the Snark. I used that once. Just the name of the Lewis Carroll poem.
The Hunting of the Snark!
I'm like, yeah, that totally fits. All right.
We are going to take a break.
Okay.
Break.
Well, okay. I just love it. Like, I love, it's like you and Joel. And we're back. I'm saying that now. We're back.
I guess
but I love the Joel. Anytime Joel's doing a show, you know, because his facial hair is different.
Yes.
Like, why do you look like Salvador Dali? And he's like, because I'm playing Salvador Dali. Like,
but Joel can do the facial hair. I cannot, because it looks stupid on me.
So you're not full on Wooly Willy.
No.
There you go.
It's hard enough for Joshua to love me
It's
without
so
facial
hard.
hair. Like without
Like,
facial
you
hair,
start
I don't
growing
want to
and
give
he's
him.
like, have you not made it difficult
Yeah,
enough?
I don't want to give him a reason to finally say this isn't working out.
This is.
If that's the
I
new
can shave.
you,
No.
if that's the new you, then we are no longer growing as a couple. And I would look
You're gonna grow
so
that.
fucking ridiculous with a mustache. In my opinion, very few people can actually pull it off without
My
looking
dad always
like...
had the mustache, the redneck mustache, you know.
That's what's saying.
Where, like, I have no idea what your upper lip looks like. Do you have an upper lip? Do you?
Oh, it's so cold.
Yeah, I always like to rock the handlebar from time about once a year, for a little while. And I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this. I don't feel like this person anymore. Who is this?
Like an anchor or something.
Yeah, for a while. It's like you can do a little manscaping from time to time, and
Steven had a beard. I think guys with beards and glasses are really cute. For some reason. I don't know what that says about me. But I'm okay with it.
That you like guys with beards and glasses.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, I wonder who started that trend where I'm like, from now on, thank you, sir, whoever you are.
It says that you like guys who are statistically more likely to be serial killers.
My husband's name is Stephen Michael Hop. Duh.
Middle name Michael, probably gonna be a serial killer. Yeah.
But
at least it's not Wayne. That's
Stephen Wayne.
You're
Stephen Wayne Hoff.
That'd be funny. But he
middle
wanted
name
to.
is Jack.
He had one a while ago when we were still living at the apartment, and when we first started recording from my place. So, like right by the treadmill where my dining room was. It echoed really bad, and it's just like, hello. But he had a beard, and he wanted to shave it. I'm like, please don't, no. I'm like, I won't torture you about the beard if you have a mustache just for a day. And it was the creepiest thing, but it was awesome. And also, we had to run a lot of errands that day, and a lot of people are, because we're in Bible Belt a bit, and so Steven's got tattoos all up and down his arm, and then to add the mustache to it.
Some people assume you're like going to rob a liquor store.
You're kidnapped.
Yeah.
Really nice home.
Look what that man's doing to that poor woman. Or sometimes, like, if I get ahead of him, because I'm always like, hurry up, get out of the store, and he likes to browse. If he gets behind, he always goes like, excuse me, miss, and I go, leave me alone, for the love of God! And there's always one person that's not sure. It's a joke.
Does anyone help? Does anyone help?
No, they just kind of go like,
Is this guy bothering you? Excuse me, is this guy bothering you?
no, never, because he always catches up, and I'm just like, don't touch me! You should try it.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
I'm ready.
You're welcome.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, that's
For the love of God!
That's
My wives usually talk alone.
We all are plotting.
So I just got this really good idea. Oh, yeah, what? You'll figure it out. It's good.
I just like to push Joshua down. I'll tell him beforehand. I'll be like, "Hey, sweetie, I'm going to push you down." Don't. I'm like, and then I'll do like the goal hands and then run away. I don't actually do that. He would have left me years ago if I ever did that. But can you imagine?
Bully people like high school bullies, but like friends. Like if it's you and we've been separated for a while and we're shopping together, like I'll kick your knees out, but I'll still grab you.
I love that. It's like, I'm going to shoot you in the chest, but I'll take you to the hospital.
Yeah. Like
That's
two
what
for
friends
flinching.
are for.
Yeah, two for flinching. Slug bug!
Some lockers put in Funimation so we can just randomly throw people into them.
Oh my God.
Time to time.
You just hear it shaking, you're like,
Oh, I know it.
hello? Oh my God, someone locked Sean in.
Oh my God, I know. Like, we all know who's going to end up in those lockers because of just how tiny and adorable they are.
Like trick them like Acme style, like there's a sandwich on a string.
Yeah.
Why do people
No, Karbowski will blow the fucking door off that. She'll be like, oh, very funny, guys, and there'll be silence. And then the whole wall comes down and she steps off. All right, let's do this, bitch. Jeremy would end up in there all the time. Come on, guys, look out. Go to the bathroom, go.
I'll give you a cupcake.
Micah would be in there and just be seized up and totally silent. You'd forget he was in there.
With
He's like
Micah,
a little field mouse that's nervous, so he's covering his face with his paws. Oh, I love Micah.
unless Alfio's with him, because she'd find a way to. She's the MacGyver.
Yeah. Alfia would save him with.
She's like, I got it.
She would save him with a pair of iPhone earpods and a slice of avocado somehow. She would. All right, she'd make little plastique out of that. We're like, all right.
She's like, all right, cover your ears, bomb.
Cover your ears. I'm trying to deflect the explosion so it goes outward.
We have some questions and comments.
I have a lot.
We've also created a new section to our question thing. We brought it up last time with Neil, which Neil was not prepared for this section of questions. But we now have Joel McDonald questions.
Oh, no.
Which I think is the best.
Can we start calling that section the farm?
No.
Come on.
I love him enough. No.
Make him angry.
No. He's like, McDonald. Like, he's like, yes, I fucking know. I know what you're going to say. I'm like, okay. This is for...
Is this a joke question?
No, this is for Tyler. As I was walking to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Are there no bigamy laws in England? Did this affect your work on Baccano?
Oh, that hurts my brain.
Only because you're trying to think about it. Don't try to think about it. Just you got to shoot from the hip.
It's a yes or no question.
You could always go that way.
Well, of course it did. Of course it did. If he had never met the man with 7 wives, he would have never had the fear put in him to properly play jacuzzi. He's like, that is the scariest thing I've ever heard of. I'll just need to think of that, and then I'll cry all the time. Imagine having 7 wives, constantly plotting your demise.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, especially 7 wives, and no offense, ladies, but could you imagine having that many women under one roof? Because they all get on the same cycle after a while.
Well, see, that's why I never understood this fantasy about 2 women. I'm like, you can barely please one. Why do you want to piss a whole other one off?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
7
no,
wives.
I don't understand that at all.
Honeydew list ain't getting any smaller.
It's just like, yeah, it would be like, you'd be like surrounded by toy cats that just go, can you, ah!
Why did I do this?
This is why I don't go on lesbian cruises. Well, that and I'm a man, so I'm not allowed. But, okay. Shall I read another Joel McDonald question?
You can do whatever you want.
Because I love this one. It's for
your
all
show.
of us. But I'm gonna, this is for all of us, but I think this can be directed at Tyler first. Okay. Big cats can either roar or purr, but not both. This is not a question. Why not? Just to paint you all a visual, Tyler is sort of relaxing back on the couch and closing his eyes, chin up, like just this great, philosophic, contemplative stance, going,
What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
Well,
If I
were an android, I would have probably melted down by now.
That's
the Turing test, right?
That's just, can you handle a Joel McDonald question?
Can you handle this question? Well, you're probably not a robot.
Come on, Ridley, I know you're rebooting it. Come on.
Because of the punctuation, I don't know.
Because of the punctuation, that's very good. Very close, very close. It's because it's a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
It's my question to you. Why? Or statement.
What?
Exactly.
You're no Joel, sweetie.
No. And don't you think I stare at myself in the mirror every morning going, shut up. You're not Joel.
That's why you're obsessed with wearing fake mustaches.
I don't know why I am, honestly.
Because on some level, you want to be Joel McDonald.
Yes.
I can appreciate. I have a similar thing.
No. I mean, Joel's lovable and all, but, I mean, no. Although him and Steven are incredibly close. That is a little terrifying.
I'm suddenly jealous of your husband.
Okay, this is from Rachel. And let me see. I think it's really just more of a comment, but it's worth reading. Hi, Tyler.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
She didn't say hi twice.
I was like, that's it. That's all she has to say. Hi, Tyler.
I'm a big fairy tale fan.
Woo woo.
Woo.
Yeah.
Ian Sinclair, woo! And while I did get to meet you at New York Anime Festival in October, I did not get the chance to express quite how happy I was to hear you were directing it. I just wanted to thank you for bringing this show to a dub viewing audience and for making it so fantastic. Thank you, Tyler.
Well, you're quite welcome. I hope you like it, because at that point it wasn't really out yet. So
Yeah.
No, and it says, the cast sounds almost exactly how I pictured it, and what I didn't expect was a pleasant surprise.
Woo!
It gives me such joy to know that people who work on this show love it just as much, if not more, than the people who watch it. Thank you.
Well, that's very important. If you hate the show you're stuck in,
doesn't it?
It's not a fun. I mean, especially if you get a 50 episode show like that, you're gonna.
Woo.
I mean, honestly, we're trying to make the best. I'm sorry if this is an offensive term, but cartoons. We work every day trying to make the best possible cartoon that we can.
Sure.
And if you don't love that job, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you can't find something to love about how much fucking fun it is to do what we do, you're like the old woman from Pollyanna. You're just like, get the fuck out of bed, bitch. You're not sick. Like that.
Well, Fairy Tale was like the first show that I'd really gotten to work on with you, and you just know that with just the way he directs you. I gotta say it to you because I can't compliment people.
Well,
we're going to talk about Tyler in the.
That's another thing I was talking about before. I got really, I was totally immersed in it. Like I was on a in between contracts at the time, so I had a month off. Me and Heather went to Sedona.
Nice.
And Flagstaff. Awesome. I highly recommend it to anyone who ever wants to go out.
Unless you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Stipulation. If you're an asshole, you might not like this.
Recharge the batteries, and then came in and wrote a couple scripts, watched as many episodes as I could, and
there were just a couple.
There's just there's only 50 at the time, and
she got through in about a day.
Yeah, we had 12 or so volumes, 11 volumes of manga, and it was just so immersive. And then you're writing it every weekend or at night, and then you're working on it all day, and you live in it, and that's the world you're in, and it's all. That's why you get really weird sometimes.
Well, this is a good segue into a question that comes from Megan. Is did you ever have any emotional attachment to a series while working on it, or even more importantly, after working on it? Like is it hard to let go of some shows because of the emotion? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all like that.
Yeah,
they're all like that. Even the ones that maybe they're all your children. Some of them are more successful than others.
Some are going to go to college. Some are going to go to technical school.
Yeah. Some are, going to be a stay-at-home son. Whatever. I was just thinking about that the other day. And I think maybe the one that got most to me was Phantom, Requiem for the Phantom, because. Not to divulge probably something that was too much about the production schedule at the time, but we were working very closely to the simulcast. Yeah. So someone would get shot, and it's like, I don't know if they're going to make it because it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. And,
I had found a lot of new actors for that one. That's where I really started working with Newt Pittman. And
Lindsay,
and Lindsay Seidel, and they were cast. I mean, they did great, but because they had the characters had no past, and I wanted the audience to have no past with those actors. So you're coming in as a clean slate. You're not saying, well, this is so and so. They play this type of character, and here it is again. Yeah. It's like, I don't know who this person is. They don't know who it is. They are.
Brilliant.
We all come in together. We are all experiencing this show together. They were, it was some of their first stuff. They weren't working on anything else. No. They were immersed in it.
I knew of Lindsay through you using it.
Yeah. She'd come in and done like a bit for me before. And she was still in high school at the time. The last session, she's in her pep rally gear. She comes straight from a pep rally. They were like, shooting and
wearing
all
the
this.
mask with the pep.
It was awesome. Really. But I was discovering the characters and and all the stuff. And we had the character of Cal played by Brittany Karbowski, and I was. actually, I like to kind of watch some or have some sort of parallel going on outside of that. Some sort of we were watching The Wire at the time as I was working on Phantom because it's basically an American gangster show, and there's some very colorful gang members, and I wanted their way of speaking to kind of come into someone like the character of like Lizzie McGuire or Isaac. So I was writing that. I wrote like 15 episodes of that show, and like that's a lot for a show like that. Yeah, and we're getting to know the characters, and it's all this new experience. And at the time, some bad. I don't know how spoilers work on this kind of thing. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! You should fast forward.
Spoiler alert! Whenever Cal dies, she dies this horrible death, and then she's just like. She's crying, and it was so. And we just lost our dog at the time, and we're buying a house, and I'm just kind of teared up just thinking about it. But it was that kind of experience in the booth, like sitting there, little tear going down, and you get really into it because
you do.
These are your peers, and you get to know them, and you care about them, and you want them to succeed, and you nurture them. Mm-hmm. And it's really like tough when bad stuff happens to them.
Well, it is, and in a lot of ways, especially, and that's what's so much fun to work with you. I mean, there's several directors up there that kind of have that ethos of like they really get completely into it. It is, your family, your friends while you're working on it. And, and to these shows come on, all these characters that you invest so much time in become kind of a permanent feature of your psyche after that.
Yeah, that, and even like like having like Newton Lindsay, and I hadn't really worked with Brittany that much, and like we learned new stuff about like what we could do, what we could express, and it was that lets me on to more sentimental than I give myself credit for sometimes, but it just all came together then. It was a horrible weekend for me, and then we had to kill my characters.
Yeah.
And it's like, this sucks so bad. And like Brittany, like the way she delivered this line was just like it was so real and it was so heartbreaking that just thinking, someone else had Mark Stoddard when we were working on this show called this OVA called 2. He had his line reading, and he's tough dude, he's like
he's
John
like Survivor
Wayne,
Man.
Yes.
Like if
he is exactly like Survivor Man.
If the zombie Holocaust happened, I would want to be with him because Gary Karenina and Mark Stoddard.
She's like, no, you're okay.
Well, we'd have to find him too. But he probably has. He's ready. He has rations. He's all.
He always has
down.
the bag with him.
Yeah, he's got his Holocaust or his annihilation kit or whatever. He's got to change
apocalypse bag.
His apocalypse bag. Yeah.
Why are you carrying that? No.
Sorry, I think I'm thinking of a
Holocaust means other things than just that.
Well, I'm thinking like destruction by fire. Something blows up. Sorry, that's totally insensitive. But he had this line reading, and it just broke my heart. And I remember like driving like home from work like weeks later, and I was thinking about the way he read this line, and it just like it got me, And it's like
I'm so glad I'm not the only person that
awesome
happens
when that
to,
happens,
I do. I'll remember. I mean, I get sometimes very emotional in the booth, depending on if the characters are going through something really hard. And
we've done that.
Yeah, and I cried, and I'll think about it later, like even months later, and be like, oh my god, I'm like, I'm crying again, more than I did when I was doing it. That's
it's just like it's like these are your people, And I first had that experience on the very first show I worked, the very first show that was mine, Basilisk. It's like this whole thing plays out, and you just want them to be okay, and you want them to fall in love, and everyone just leave them alone and keep their freaky powers to themselves and their blood sucking whatever that they do. And then like we watched it, and I just cried like a baby at the end of it because I knew them all so well.
Well, I think it's a testament to your gifts as a director, Tyler, that all these characters are so real for you. And I think that's what makes you able to make them real for a dub audience.
You know, we were talking about earlier, you know, getting into the psyche and why they speak a certain way, what has formed them, and especially if you work on the scripts, you get to shape them in certain ways. You know, it's like I know people have their different opinions on adaptive script writing.
Right.
I'm a adapter, you know, and I
adapter,
want to
not copy paste.
Not a transcriber. We're adapters, as John likes to say.
I want to, you want to add some, you want to imbue meaning, or you want to kind of draw it out, or you want to really flesh it out, and you want to make it colorful, and you want to make it impactful, or you want to make it more poignant, or you make it funnier, or you want to do all kinds of stuff, and so you start to develop who those people are because it's what they say, it's how they present themselves, or it's how they talk to themselves, or it's how they think, you know, and it's like you just get into them so much so, especially if, you know, Heather always says I'm a workaholic, but you know, I mean, I'm not a jerk.
Well, when you're so passionate about things like that,
exactly,
you want to do it. You want to write. But do you get to a point when you're writing, like if you've worked on a show for a while, and you've gotten to know these characters from a scripting standpoint, do you get to a point where they just kind of talk to you in your head, and and you're just kind of writing down what they say to you, and then kind of making it, and then later going back and kind of making sure that it matches the flabs?
Yeah, you'll think about that, like you're driving to work and you're like thinking about a scene, or you're like in the shower or whatever, and you're like you can't do it all right at your desk because you have to let it kind of play out, and you know, if it's I don't know, it just really depends. I mean, and then there's shows that aren't the same in a way. I remember, you know, you and I are really the same mind in that style. We worked on Hero Tales, and it's very lofty, and it's very epic, colorful, very lofty, and very blah blah. You know, it's very wordy, and you know, you can say stuff, you know, like lines that you'll like never, you know, never hear come up in conversation.
But
they're not conversational, you know. And the actors will remember those too. And then I remember writing Hero Tales and then going to Fairy Tale. And
woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
You know, because apparently I'm the tail guy. So
that's what I heard.
And
thought the term was wingman, but never mind.
So anyway, John's like, he's like, you got to make the script a little more transparent. You know,
yeah.
You know, you got to. This isn't that. You know, that we need to. You know, this isn't a, you know, you and Michael Tatum working on script. You know, this is, you know, you're not trying to, you know, just really. It's not just all pearls all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean.
Which is funny. It's why John likes to give me, like, he'll alternate. He'll give me, like, a show where I can take those kind of crazy liberties as a writer and make this, you know, very, very eloquent. You know, everyone speaks in that sort of quasi-theatrical.
You need a break. You can't always do
and
that
then,
show.
But I hate to, and I don't mean to, and because that kind of writing, like the really effulgent language is really kind of easy for me because of just my reading habits.
Yeah.
So I know, and it's not arrogant at all. It's just that particular kind of writing just for some reason comes very easily to me. What's really difficult is writing the grittier, more realistic stuff, like say in Blastwriter.
Yeah.
Or some of the stuff I'm working on now. So I love that John will give me a chance to kind of stretch my legs.
I love that. I love the gritty
push me
stuff.
outside of my comfort zone.
Talking about Phantom earlier, you know, like. I remember I was working with Will Short, and it was like directing
Will Short.
This guy Rick Keeling on Isaac, and you know he's like, man, you were channeling your inner Samuel L. Jackson for that. You know, you're like going these line reads, and but it's
which is so funny because like Virgo, he gets very feminine. Like he's like like say like loyal, like and he even like does. I'm like.
Yeah, I cut my teeth.
You are fun to watch.
I cut my teeth on Negama, which is like, you know, all girls and Greg Ayers, and it's like, oh no, you need to say it like, oh, Maggie! Like,
in a lot of ways, I think Tyler's a better girl than I am.
Well, you know, you work on your, some people you just can't even give a line read to because you can never be, I don't know, it's hard to co-opt their voice, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Or you couldn't
some things it's kind of hard to express what you want to be kind of like this.
Yeah.
And they're like, Okay.
Or there's sometimes you direct like it's like a yelly show, you know, and you're like screaming and
every 5 seconds.
Your poor engineer, you're just like screaming in their ear all the time, and they're like jumping. Yelled at Steven a bunch when we were working together. You know, just like you just yell it out, you know. It's something you can do that for.
Steven got to do that. He does this creepy voice for Tatum where he's all, ooh! And he did it to
voice.
Tyler, and he put it in Fairy Tale where he knocks down her and says, out of the way! And everyone identifies, they're like, yep, fuck that kid. Fuck her.
Some people you can't really, do that for, but... I don't know, it's fun to try, at least.
Yeah.
Heather doing Hiroko, there's no way I could... Oh, I'm just going to scream for 4 minutes, and this is how you do that, you know?
It's like, you know what?
I do not envy you.
No, I know most of y'all do. I love it.
Screaming is awesome, then you're like, okay.
4 days of break.
Where are all these stars coming?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
First time I ever screamed, it was like, hoo-hoo, and I got out of the booth and Jill goes, yeah, and I went, yeah,
I did it. I passed out once screaming for Mike McFarlane on Vexiel.
Really?
Yeah.
It was one of those
That's kinda
crazy
awesome.
Kisaragi, the character I played, like he's just got this moment where he is screaming at the top of his fucking voice, and it is a brilliant shot of him just screaming, and his face is just coming towards the camera because he's in an helicopter that's crashing, and his face is coming to it, and it's like 9 seconds. And a 9-second scream at the top of your voice with that much power behind it is fucking ridiculously hard. I found it, so anyway.
Yeah, it's tough.
And we kept having to do it, and I'm like, and it had to be just like the right, because it was like there was no every you could see every detail of his voice, like there was, so I couldn't I had to just take a really long breath, and I think by the third take I did it, I finally got it right, and then I passed the fuck out, and then woke up just briefly, I passed out just enough to
checked out to sit down,
to sit sort of gravity sat me down, and then I woke up, and then Mike was kind of opened the door, he's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. He's
like, little Mike laugh.
and he's like, welcome to the club.
Yeah, totally. It's when we were working on Blast Rider, we had this scene, I think it was episode 19.
Oh my god.
And it's when he just flips out, it's Todd, and he was doing this low voice, and I always like to cast Todd against, he always played the geeks for so much. I love to do his Batman voice or whatever.
He sounds great in that show.
And in that one, he did this thing where he just flip it out, and he's just like, just like,
and it goes on forever.
And he goes on forever, and he's like, I taste
Fairy
blood.
Tale practice.
I taste blood. And it's like, okay, we're done.
He tasted blood.
I taste blood. And then that's why when he was doing The Gray Man at the same time.
That's right.
I get the call to go over and do Monster for 2 hours, and it's like, okay, I get what this is. It's revenge. It's fine. We're paying each other. It's cool.
I wrote that episode, and I believe I put something in the margin of that react of like, I am so sorry, Todd. It's in the animation, Todd. I'm sorry.
And just over and over again.
Oh my god!
If you have to get more than those, you feel like such a sadist. It's like, can you just, or like such a like.
You gotta do it. Well, we did that because Jalal's the first time I ever had to scream.
Oh yeah.
And I definitely couldn't get it on the first try. It was new, and also to be still trying to figure out your boy voice,
you're
and then
the
have
boy
to
voice.
shout on top of that. Tyler's like, sorry, still not long enough. I'm like, it's cool.
I'm sorry, Terry. Can you you think you can try that again and just go a little bit longer?
And you're not recording anywhere else after this, right? I'm like, no, good.
For like the next week, right? Okay, good.
Because for a while, especially working on Fairy Tale or Blast Rider, all that, I was the I'll come in my booth. I'll just kill your voice. Hope you don't want to make any more money this week.
Like Todd is not so mean every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to fight someone.
Yeah, and it's like.
Still be saying something on top of it.
Oh my god!
It's like, I'm gonna go out and get some coffee. By the time I'm back, you should be done with the screen.
Open the door. Shut the door. Open it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go run and get some cheese fries in the drive-thru. You want anything? Just ice, maybe.
And then
Milk.
it's like it's it's really hard. What's why it was funny. You keep referencing Heather's Hiroko. Like she comes out and she's like, "You want to do that again?" She's like,
I can do it
It's
again.
like I've never seen you this happy. It's like,
sometimes the really big screaming stuff can be really cathartic
No,
if you're
it
not
was
a
therapy.
screamer in real life. Like I've had that experience before where you're like, when you cry in the booth or something, I'm like, I'm not a big crier in real life. I mean, I just don't break down crying very often. And so when I have to do it, it's like, this is so cathartic. I wish, I want to cry more now.
Just like something you don't do naturally. Like I think,
The only place I got to play with that would be Six Flags.
Yeah, you go to Six Flags, you get on the roller coasters, and
nice.
I get it going.
We got to do that. We got to do that.
Oh yeah,
we got to go to Six Flags sometime. Go on the Titan.
Next year.
Hands up, front.
Next
Can
year.
you scream like all the way down that first trough? Really? Because most people can't. Most people get about 3/4 of the way down, and they just they run out of breath because that fucking dip is so long.
We went with some friends of ours over. We went on New Year's Day actually, and she's screaming her head off, and our friend Gigi is just laughing. She couldn't. It just cracked her up so much that just tears are streaming down her face, and just like. Driving over here, it's like, oh man, this is almost the way to Six Flags,
I got some adrenaline.
Yeah, we're down the street.
Now, do you just like to scream because for the fun of it, or does part of you love to do it because it scares the shit out of the other people in the car that don't know what the ride is all about? Like, do you start screaming? Do you start screaming like before, like while you're just going up that first hill slowly? You should totally do that sometime.
Yeah, that would be good.
I laugh crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do.
Like, all right, everybody, give me your wallets. And everybody's like, ah!
Got ya.
But no, like actually, I just really, truly love to be a participant, and I like to create other people's energy to like make them participate.
That's
too.
awesome.
I hate like a quiet roller coaster. We've been on the mine train, and I got people going, and
the mine train is so.
You'd be good to go to a haunted house with or something like that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Not so
Which
much,
like
because
I
I'm
went with
actually
Tia, and Tia's like the screamer is like ah, and I'm just like good job.
No,
Good job.
I close my
I'm not a
eyes.
screamer really. It's just good job.
Well, you guys are like, you know all about the behind the scenes like haunted
That's
houses.
true, yeah.
So I mean that's. It's,
My
you've
suspicion
seen behind
of
the.
disbelief is like pretty perfect for anything you put me in.
So you're awesome.
Clawing
You're
your
the
back,
ideal
pushing
audience
you
for
through.
a horror movie.
She's gonna ride your corpse down.
That's awesome. I love watching it with people like that. I don't like watching it's less fun watching a horror movie that you like. That's a really good horror movie that like someone else is maybe it's good because it's just nostalgic for you. Maybe it's not a great movie, but you remember being scared shitless by it when you were a child, and so every time you watch
Like
it, you
Nightmare on Elm
recapture
Street
something.
movies,
Yeah. But for someone that's coming into it watching, it's like not fun when someone wants to just take the ironic stance and just kind of poke fun and not respond to it. It's so much more fun to watch a horror movie with someone
new,
who's
don't be a dick. Unless it is like this is horrible. Like my friend Sarah and her boyfriend were over. I'm like, let's watch Night of the Comet.
And that's a different.
Yeah, that is awesome. Like there wasn't like, oh, I'm scared. It's like, oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, those are fun too.
Yeah.
But I love watching a horror movie, a good old like classic horror film that many people like would find cheesy now. I love watching it with people that are just like tailor made to like they respond exactly how the director wanted them to respond. Yeah, and Tyler's like pointing. Yeah, I mean that's totally. I love it. It's fun. Like I can still get freaked out because I tend to absorb the energy of whoever's around me. Yeah. So like I don't when I'm watching a comedy, I very rarely laugh alone. But if I'm in a theater full of people who laugh, I crack up.
Nobody does. Yeah,
totally.
But you know me, I laugh at the most obscure things.
Yeah.
I laugh.
What is that?
Well, like we were both directing Rin at a time, like at the same time, and there's a scene where the main character wakes up and she's like, and then it does a zoom out and it shows she's on a ship and the ship goes.
And that just cracked her up for some reason.
To the point where now he'll just go, ship.
Yeah. As you started doing that with everything. Anything in the background. Car. Like.
Because she lost her memory after blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, oh my God, do you know who I am? And it's awkward, quiet, and then a car just goes,
Car.
I find obscure funny.
But like I do that now in public, like in out in the real world, quote unquote. I'll be like, Diesel!
Or we were out in the garden earlier, and this big butterfly came out of nowhere, and he went, butterfly!
It's like, butterfly.
Because it was
Or
like, Jesus
it's more like,
Christ!
wing it intact. Because it's got that fluttery thing. It's
Yeah, I
just
find obscure funny, but I mean...
a name
yeah.
and a tonal quality to everything, like it just announces itself, like everything is kabuki theater now.
Good times. All right.
Another question.
This is from the Joel McDonald section.
Oh dear. Ready for this? Is your mind in a place where
This is for Tyler.
All right.
What's your favorite kind of monkey? In what ways is it more awesome than your engineer, Kyle Phillips?
Love it.
What is my favorite kind of monkey?
I'm gonna make like a sound as a Joel McDonald section. Like,
Yeah.
We totally.
I love all kinds of monkeys.
Yeah,
Actually,
he's a primate guy.
I love monkeys.
Gorillas, you have the gorilla pen.
Yeah, gorillas.
What if you,
I like a lot.
let's
how-
distort the question a little
monkey.
bit. What monkey does Kyle remind you of?
Well, Kyle is he's big guy.
Big. He's a tall drink of water.
Yeah. So he
So
is,
Bigfoot?
Yeah. Well, Bigfoot's not a.
I get a picture of Kyle going,
Like the Patterson film pose.
the big.
He's I guess he's more like
He's
a
like
gorilla.
Planet of the Apes monkey.
But yeah, but
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas.
Oh, and we just watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
She's
and,
awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome. And then we watched that documentary. This is totally off subject for some reason. We're changing the subject a little bit. Yes, monkeys. Project Nim. Have you ever seen that? Oh my god, it's heartbreaking. It's almost just like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's about this chimp named Nim who's taken from his mother in this
heard of him.
horrific
He's
enclosure.
Like from our childhood. You'll hear
And he learned sign language, and he went through this training thing, and he lived with this family, and then he lived at this mansion with these young, like, women and these, and then all this stuff.
Crazy life.
And he learned sign language, and he and then he got monkey and he got bitey and stuff, and they took him and they just basically put him in like this solitude, this like monkey jail. It was so heartbreaking.
Your favorite monkey. You like
Nim was good. I love.
And this is a documentary you're talking
Yeah,
about? So
yeah.
this is all...
Everyone should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, because now
I've got to find it. What's it called?
It's called Project Nim.
Project Nim.
Get it on Netflix, but it's on DVD, not instant right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's
Gotcha.
from like 2011. But I think
And
it's just
Netflix.
and
I've
yeah,
gotta check
so
it out.
of course we're in for some reason we're in depressing animal movies right now. So you watched.
What was it that you showed us a picture of? There's a dog food called Old Yeller.
There's a dog food brand called Old Yeller, and I'm like,
I've seen that.
who the fuck
with that-
thought this was a good idea?
with that fresh from the woodshed.
good years.
Yeah, with that. There might be a little bit of buckshot in each
Yeah,
bag,
totally.
but you'll be
Hey,
fine.
Travis, what are you doing with that gun?
You get the Old Yeller out, the dog knows.
Yeah.
But she protected the
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think if it's gonna be a dog's last meal, right? They should at least make like the wet brand.
Yeah,
of
totally,
Yeller,
yeah.
right? How shitty is
Like
that?
it's meat,
Yeah.
instead of horrible organs. Whatever they serve.
Yeah, so we just watched that. Now we just got The Cove in today, which is
Yes,
that
we'll be
depressing dolphin killing movie.
This has something to do with Kyle being a monkey, though.
Unless you're
it's
planning,
random, and
unless
we
you're
like it.
planning
Well,
on,
you know,
unless you're planning on like
But
putting
I'm
Kyle in
interested
monkey jail.
Oh gosh.
How is it?
King Kong, you can do that.
He's tall enough to be King
I don't
Kong.
know. Nim was
He's better than Kyle because he could sign language.
he showed up on time.
Oh!
No, he
Oh, when Kyle doesn't listen to this show, he is.
Kyle is so one day gonna hear this when he's got nothing better to do.
Well, no, we do that all the time. I just don't get it. It's funny.
if I had a monkey engineer, I could pet him, and I just can't do that with Kyle.
Until he
And-
turned
Well, you
on
could,
me.
He
but he
turned
would
on me and ate my
probably-
face. You know,
Yeah, and
Full
then you have to
circle.
get HR involved. That
Yeah,
would be
no, I mean, it's
Stacey's
like-
like, no, wait, what?
yeah, I don't think we covered that.
What?
Yeah.
Kyle is not that way when I'm there.
1,000 monkeys recording 1,000 animes.
Did he have a tie
If you put
on?
1,000 Kyles in front of a typewriter, eventually they will write the scripts
And they would
for
always
Shangri-La.
bring bananas to work. So,
leaving the peels around so people fall on them.
Yeah, it'd be a great source,
really?
source of amusement.
Really?
Yeah.
We're reduced to this vaudevillian shtick because we had. This is what happens when you hire monkeys. And they fling
Monkeys.
poo. And they fling poo.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope Kyle doesn't do that.
he doesn't.
Thanks, Kyle.
But okay,
That we know of.
if I may digress a bit,
Stay on mic!
I don't think anyone at Funimation flicks poo. But this is the Funimation's dirtiest secret, and whoever does this,
Oh, no.
I hope you're listening to this podcast because I hate you and
hope
I
it's
want
not
you
me.
to fail. Someone wipes boogers on the wall in the production bathroom.
Okay, as if it's not bad enough.
There's a north, south, east, west. I don't know if they're doing spells in there, if they're their own, if there's a black cat bone
They're
under
doing
the
bunch of
toilet as
alchemy in
well. But I swear, whoever does this,
I'm telling you, you know what? I figured it out. It's all come together. I feel like I should be drawing this on a chalkboard. See, the face-eating zombie outbreak
Oh boy, yes.
Okay, Sherlock,
was
let's do this.
all Funimation's idea.
Yes.
And that's how they did it. It's all voodoo. And so it's the marketing department.
Oh yeah,
is going
so
in there
someone's like,
doing
well, have
voodoo
you-
with the boogers. That's how they
the
do
boogers
it.
on the wall.
And that's creating the zombie outbreak in Florida or wherever the hell it is, in Canada or whatever, where it is.
It's everywhere.
I have to.
Maryland,
Eye
Florida,
level.
yeah.
So you have to like.
Maybe the bacteria only grows on these
I know they have to be cultivated. They have to be cultivated.
Don't demystify it. I like the magical idea. Come on, don't overthink it.
I don't know who does it. I know you're not listening. I wish you were, and you feel 1,000 years of shame because
You are a disgusting
we
bastard.
are all adults, and if you can reach where they are, you're an adult.
And
End of story.
we know you're shorter than us because of where the boogers are.
Ooh.
That's just. I don't understand
didn't
that.
know
I have
that.
never understood
Well,
that.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
the guy's
understand.
bathroom.
Oh, it's in the...
I don't understand booger placement.
But I'm too polite.
Yeah,
I'm too
I
polite
just
to use the girls' bathroom. So.
You just
I don't know if they're in there.
Thank you.
Trash can, really. Maybe on the back of someone you don't like.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is
You know.
wrong with you?
Yeah,
Seriously, that's what you're gonna do, though.
Yeah,
Okay, because you're just that immature. That's really what you're gonna do. Fuck you.
should start- you
Everyone
should start-
knows the proper place for them is under your engineer's desk.
Or on the keyboard. There you
Oh
go.
my god.
Especially
Oh
if
my
either
God.
spacebar or 3. There you go. Engineers get it.
Especially Studio C. But
There.
Okay, this is like, I guess we have time for like one more question. This is supposed to be the lightning round question.
Lightning.
Okay.
But we got some time
All right.
to
What we
extrapolate on it. It's just an odd one. This is from Angelica, or it may be Angelica. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, my dear. If someone told you that, quote, you look like a well-frosted cake, end quote, would you take that as an insult or a compliment?
Depends on the cake.
Would
If
Well-
it was a fat person in a chef's outfit in Florida, I would be upset and I would feel afraid for my life.
yes. Well, you wouldn't want to be you look like a poorly frosted cake or a cake wreck.
There you go.
Yeah, cake wreck.
Yeah.
Cake wreck.
That's on the cakerex.com.
Yeah,
Oh
but
God.
I do wear a lot of puffy white chiffon, so I guess
So you have it coming, I guess, right?
It's really your own fault.
I'm just asking.
Hey,
I'm
Tyler.
hoping for it. I've been going out there every day hoping to hear that. And if they're not saying it to me, then yes, I am offended. If they're not saying it to me,
I think it depends.
It depends on the cake.
It depends on the context, really. If I'm a well-frosted cake because maybe I put highlights in my hair and overdid it, then I feel like that's kind of a douche thing to say. Like, you look like a well-frosted cake. But if they're saying it because they're like, you look like a well-frosted cake. I think in most contexts, because I don't highlight
what's
my
their
hair.
facial expression? Because that one would be bad.
That would be, that one.
It's the same thing. Hey, how am I looking at you? Are wearing
and the
that.
tone of their voice. If
Yeah.
they just, if they said, you you look like a well-frosted cake. Like that would be that's
creepy.
A compliment. Yeah. Creepy, but a compliment because that means they want to.
Well.
They want to.
They may want to consume your flesh, but they'd enjoy it.
You look like a well-frosted.
Yeah, but some part of me feels validated by that. I mean, there has to be some point in the process when you're being eaten alive where you're thinking they chose me.
Also, if they had an accent. It would depend. You look like a well-frosted cake.
You look like a well-frosted cake. You look like a well-frosted cake. Like that, maybe not so much.
You look like a well-frosted cake. Yes, you do. Look at you. I just want to eat you up, and I will.
I think the new compliment meme that I want to put out there. Just I want to see if this catches hold. I think the greatest way to tell a guy he looks awesome is to tell him that he looks like a Thor sheet cake.
Flat?
It's a version of Thor that you can eat. You can bury your face in it. You can. I mean, and you don't have to clean off the frosting from your face if you don't want to, because that's your sheet cake. Sorry, I'm a big Thor fanboy. Big Thor fanboy. Can I just?
We finally saw that last weekend. Totally awesome.
Oh my god, yeah, I loved it.
Well,
oh my
I
god.
watched Thor like 2 weeks before.
Yeah,
it actually was surprising.
I liked it. I really liked it. A lot of people didn't, and I'm just kind of like,
cool.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I loved. I mean, I do have some criticisms for the most parts. Yeah. I thought there was some criticism. Not a perfect movie, but overall, I thought I really enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, granted, though, I grew up with Thor was one of my favorite comic book heroes growing up. So Thor was just always kind of a big part of my childhood, and probably among many of the reasons that I figured out I have to be gay. Why? Because Thor makes me feel ways that Superman does not. Thor makes me feel ways that Wonder Woman just doesn't. God knows she tries, but yeah.
Okay, you're comparing Marvel DC. Maybe that's your problem.
No, Batman did things for me,
Green
but
Lantern,
I discovered Batman later.
Just came out. No?
Yeah, I never really followed the Green Lantern. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure if I got to know him, we would make a splendid couple. But that's going to be hard to date superheroes, though, because you're always going to feel like, I
was all about Tony
so
Stark,
married to your work.
It's like worse than a pilot.
He's never home. I mean, he's saving the world, but seriously, he missed my mom's birthday.
Well, and they have too many opportunities. And they have too many opportunities to cheat. Like if you smell a scent on them, someone's cologne, you're like, "What the hell is that from?" They were like, "Well, I was saving this guy from a fire," and you're like, God damn it! I have to take that at face value, otherwise I look like a total douche.
2 time zones over, so
Yeah.
But the Avengers, I knew it was going to be great because Whedon directed it, so I was very happy.
Yeah, I'm not a total Joss Whedon nerd, but a couple weeks ago we watched Cabin in the Woods, which is insane.
I need to see it. I have not seen it yet.
Let anyone even.
I know no one. Yeah, I won't. Everyone's told me no, we're not telling because I really. No, I haven't seen it yet, and I am a Joss Whedon. I love Joss Whedon.
And
I just haven't. I haven't had a chance. Everyone has said that.
But that's why
everyone said it's amazing.
I saw it with Alexis, and it was me and Alexis every 5 minutes, just Alexis likes to make sound effects. Yeah. So a guy comes out of the water, she's all wow, dude. No, I saw it opening day and Avengers opening day. I never see things opening day ever.
Joshua was in Delaware for business, and I stayed in town, of course.
I'm in Delaware.
And, but there was nothing else to do in the place where he was staying, and so he called me up, and he was like, yeah, I saw the Avengers last night. I'm like, you what? How, you went to see it without me? Fuck you! And I'm like, so he's like, I'll take some, the minute he got off the plane. I'm like, we're going to see the fucking Avengers.
Going right now, here are our tickets.
It has Thor in it, goddammit. You know how I feel about
Sweetie,
this.
I just got off a plane. No, come on. For the sake of our relationship. We are out of time.
We are out of time. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, man.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
You really,
really are. You'll have to come back. You'll have to come back sometime.
Well, I'd love to talk.
You're taking...
Yeah.
Wait. We'll make this creepy.
We're taking photos. We're still going to do it, though. Hold on.
Damn it. Hang on. Let me.
We have a sock monkey in the studio now. Sock monkey.
The sock monkey says, "You are out of time."
Sock monkey.
I must eat your face.
Your favorite kind of monkey. Yes. Sock monkey. Sock monkey judges you.
Sock monkey ain't got no room to judge anybody. He's made of socks.
Yeah, but the old man socks.
Well, not old man socks, like 1970, like circa 1970s athletic socks.
Yeah,
the tube socks, which for some reason I find very sexy.
Oh, I still do too.
Yeah, there's something about those
like parachute shorts.
Yeah, little parachute shorts, like the silk parachute short, or like the nylon parachute shorts.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. We will be back in July with Offbeat.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
You want a
she can talk about Shangri-La as well.
Yes.
Yep.
She'll probably.
She was awesome.
Actually, the announcement is what got me to ask her.
She was really awesome,
really great.
And I was like, man, this is kind of you have one of the more challenging roles in here.
Absolutely.
And I gave her some of the stuff in advance, and she just killed it.
She sounds amazing.
I haven't heard anything. I want to see.
Okay.
Great.
I want to see now.
She's great. Soon.
I'm not patient.
August.
Shangri-La in August.
Yeah.
You heard it.
Yes. Oh, and shameless plug. Sorry, Dead Man Wonderland. Second episode airs tonight.
This won't be uploaded until tomorrow, but yeah.
Airs yesterday.
Shame on. Well, then watch it next week.
Okay, no. If you do miss it, remember that they are still testing it. If you can see any of them, and I know you won't hear this, but also go to the gold episode section of AdultSwim.com.
Yeah. Great show. Had a lot of fun working on that.
What does that mean? Gold episode.
Gold episode, like so you have a second chance to see it.
Oh, so it logs that you want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we watched it last. Yeah. We watched it last week.
Yeah,
watching it tonight too. Yeah.
We'll watch it tonight.
All right. Well.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.